Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar. I'm sure that there's a fair bit of expectation for this video, ladies and gentlemen. As you all know, we like to talk about some failures that happen in video games. Now, earlier this year, I made fun of a game known as Suicide Squad, and at the time I thought, whoa, this is probably the biggest live service slop failure that I'm gonna see for a while. I want to say 5 days ago, 4 days ago, I made a video on a game known as Concord, which was one of Sony's biggest flops. And I said in that video that, even though this game doesn't look like it's selling, it's probably going to be around for a year. No, it's not. Concord is no longer available on the Steam store. Yeah, this game dropped on the 23rd of August, 2024. And, if we whip out the old calendar over here real quickly, ladies and gentlemen, it has barely survived 2 weeks. In fact, if anything, it has not survived 2 weeks. Because according to Sony over here, they're actually about to take this game down September 6, 2024. So, Concord fans, I hate how they're using fans in the plural sense. I went to English class. Plural means more than one, Sony. And I don't even think there was a Concord fan, all right? I've been on the subreddit. That shit's deader than anything. We've been listening closely to your... if they were listening to anything, we wouldn't even bother burning millions of dollars on this trash. Since the launch of Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC, and want to thank everyone who has joined the journey aboard the North Star. Your support and the passionate community that has grown around this game has meant the world to us. Now, I don't want to jump into any of the crazy discussion around it. This game was barely advertised. It was a generic slop hero shooter with character design that probably rivaled that of my actual doodles in kindergarten. And that was pretty much about it. It is a failure. However, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, which qualities? Which qualities? The exit button? The exit game option? Was that the quality that you were talking? Alt F4? Oh yeah, that resonated with everyone. We also recognize that other aspects of the game in our initial launch didn't land the way we intended. Therefore, at this time, we decided to take the game offline beginning September 6, 2024 and explore options. So, I don't know, maybe they might do like Concord: A Realm Reborn, but they're really going to try doing something that'll better reach players. Now, obviously, while we determine the best path forward, Concord sales will cease immediately, and they're effectively giving people a full refund, which obviously means like, hey, listen, if you burn money on this, well, you'll get it back. Especially those that bought that digital deluxe edition, and you should be getting it back, especially when the game was taken from you less than 2 weeks after it comes out. Now, to give you an idea of like the people playing Concord, last night, maybe it reached, actually, it's not even last night, or actually that is, it was probably like peak, 109 players. Currently, Concord is played by 32 individuals, which means, statistically, the Metal Gear Online 2 private servers that people are playing through PlayStation 3 emulators and PlayStation 3 systems with DNS reconfiguration. Yes, Metal Gear Solid 4, a dead private server of a game, has basically over doubled the active community of a Sony AAA slop live service shooter. Obviously, this is probably numbers reflecting after the game is being on its way taken out, but yeah, it's a bad look, all right? The game is fucking dead, all right? We get it. So, yeah, if you actually look into the amount of sales, some people were expecting that the game apparently sold, I'm not joking with you, somewhere around 25,000 units, based on experts basically scraping all of the data that they could. And yeah, 25,000 units for a video game of Concord size and development budget, yeah, it's not something that's going to absolutely rake in the dollars. And, when it comes down to the budget for this, some people are speculating $100 to $200 million, which, again, is a massive amount of cash. Look, at the end of the day, this game probably was pretty costly to develop if it was in development for years with a giant studio attached to it or a larger studio than average. And clearly it's obvious, like you can say this without a shadow of a doubt, it did not make its money back, and it definitely didn't make the bean counters at Sony anywhere excited whatsoever. So yeah, Concord, one of the largest actual video game failures. In fact, as far as this year goes, look, you can rip on Suicide Squad all you want, but at least that game is still functioning. At least it still runs. The day before, I knew that game was a was a scam to begin with. It wasn't backed by big Sony anyways. So when that game went down, yeah, people kind of expected it and we laughed. But this is an actual, genuine, bona fide, no questions asked about it, a proper, solid definition of a failure. And if you go to like the Concord Reddit about it too, it was actually really funny because every time I try to like look at these gaming Reddits, usually they always consist of people that are snorting that copium to no end. Look, the game just wasn't good, okay? That's pretty much what it comes down to. It was sitting in a market where if you wanted to pay $40 for a video game like Concord, you may as well just download Destiny. You may as well just download something like Overwatch. You might as well download any hero shooter that is actually available for free right now. In fact, I'll give you a better option. Go and buy Unreal Tournament 2004 on GOG, and you can play that with your friends and have a far better time than playing whatever game Concord tried to give to you. And it's actually a shame because I wanted to wake up and buy the game just so I can play it and experience this failure, but it's gone, and it's gone to the point where Sony isn't even going to offline patch it so you can play with like a bot group or something, or you can play it over local area network or direct IP with all of your friends. No, this game is actually completely gone. And if we were to apply the stop killing games mentality, that's where I kind of am sad. This piece of gaming history is actually taken away. There's not going to be any people playing. So if you got to play Concord within this 2-week time frame, congratulations, you are one of the brave few, and quite literally the actual few, that got to experience one of Sony's biggest slop failures, effectively happen right in front of your eyes. I also like to think that when it comes to games like Concord, for instance, which require things like a PlayStation Network, given the restrictions when it comes to PlayStation Network accounts, Sony was shooting themselves in the foot to begin with. Not only was this a paid-for experience, but when you're limiting the amount of people that can access your paid-for live service oversaturated experience, you're not really going to look at anything that is successful. And it's wild to me that Sony is a company that has so many interesting and intriguing IPs and actual ways to make crazy money. Like literally the day ago, we were emulating Bloodborne just to actually get that experience up and running and going. And if Sony had actually, instead of putting the money towards this and decided to port a game like that, which actually has a lot of fan demand, they would succeed pretty heavily. Look, this isn't like, uploading a YouTube video and having a few 1 out of 10s and having a good time and uploading a video that you're passionate about that you know is going to fail. This is an actual massive project that Sony put millions of dollars behind, and you damn well were expecting that they were going to make a serious ton of cash through this, or at least have something that was going to drip in live service money like no tomorrow. But I think it's also a good blessing that gamers responded in this way too. Like, we don't really need an excess amount of these kind of games, and obviously the market reflected that, and that's why this project failed, and ultimately that is the end of Concord. And there's not really much more you can say about it other than what an actual failure, and quite literally a failure indeed. So ultimately, I do feel bad for the development team behind this. Like, obviously, I believe this is their first game. And, while it wasn't clearly successful, I am worried about the jobs that those people are going to have. Clearly, there's going to be layoffs. And there is talented individuals who probably worked on the actual gameplay and whatnot with the stuff. I still can't even get behind those character designs. But when it comes to a project like this, there's a lot of people with their lives on the line, their livelihoods on the line. And yeah, that's the only thing you can really feel bad for in this situation. But hopefully those people get reshuffled to a useful development team and useful projects, not stuff like Concord, which was literally a failure as it was announced. And it's weird, like 2 months ago, they showed this game, they release it without any fanfare, and then Sony expects somehow that people are just going to like inhale this and purchase this to no end. Like literally, any other IP that I've seen launch multiplayer-wise has done far more successfully by a wide, multiple amounts of margins as compared to something like this. Insane failure. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk about Concord. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.